Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Shahriyar Ahmed and in today's video we're diving into the exciting world of SwiftUI. Now SwiftUI has faced multiple challenges in its initial releases, but now it has become more stable and powerful than ever before. So if you have been holding off from learning SwiftUI, now I believe is the best time to explore its full potential. So let's get started. SwiftUI is Apple's innovative framework for developing UIs across all Apple platforms. So previously we had UIKit for mobile apps and AppKit for macOS apps. But now we have one framework for all platforms, and also SwiftUI is seamlessly compatible with UIKit and AppKit. So you can have some portion of your project in UIKit and the rest in SwiftUI. Now SwiftUI has declarative syntax, and in declarative programming you focus on what you want instead of how are you going to achieve your goal. So you describe your view and its state to SwiftUI, and SwiftUI will handle the rest for you. So it conforms more to the human mental model instead of machine's operational model. Don't worry if this does not make sense to you. I'll explain again in the code.
Now let's create a new Xcode project. Select iOS app, call it Learn SwiftUI, and add a unique bundle identifier. Select SwiftUI as interface and Swift as language. Click Next and create your project. Our new project has finished loading up and is ready for us. After the release of iOS 15 and 16, there has been a change in the default files of a new project. As you can see, we have no more app delegate, scene delegate, or info.plist or launch screen. So first of all, our info.plist has been moved to our project target. So if you select your project target in the info tab, you have custom iOS target properties. So here you can add rest of your info.plist properties, and it works same as it worked previously with info.plist file in your project navigator. So for the rest, we have two files. One is our content view, that is a default view provided by SwiftUI, and second is our app file. So our app file starts with @main attribute. That means that it is the entry point of our application. So previously we used to have an app delegate and scene delegate file to handle the life cycle of our app and scenes. But now we have our app file, and we can do most of our configurations here. But we can still add our app delegate or scene delegate if we need one. Our app file confirms through the app protocol. So in our app file, we are basically returning our first view, that is our default content view. You can change it later on to be any other view that you have in your app. So that will be your very first view that will be appearing in your window. Secondly, we have our content view file. Now content view is our default view, and it conforms to the view protocol. All of our UI elements like text, buttons, images already conform to view protocol. So the view protocol has only one requirement, that has a body, and body is also some sort of view. So in our body, we are already having a default block of code, that is a VStack, and in our VStack we have an image that is fetching our system image called globe, and our text, this is a simple hello world text. So this is a default block of code to show a globe image and hello world text. Now what are these elements? .image scale, .foreground style, and .padding. These are simply view modifiers. They are simply functions that basically perform some action on a view and return another view. For example, .image scale, this performs scaling on an image. .foreground style, that adds a color to your image. So we have a padding modifier. So what padding does is it adds horizontal and vertical padding to your VStack. You have lots of other UI components that you can add in your view. SwiftUI has a very cool feature of live previews. So live previews allow you to view your changes in the canvas in runtime. So whatever changes we will add to our view will be rendered automatically to our canvas. You can disable this by commenting out or removing this block of code, and also removing this preview will have no effect on your code that will be submitted to App Store. In the start of the video, I explained that SwiftUI has a declarative syntax. Now let's learn the difference between the declarative and imperative programming. So let's say in UI kit you need a list to display the name of a few companies. So you would configure a table view first in your storyboard, then you would create an IB outlet in its view controller, and then you will configure its data source. So it's a series of steps that you have to think about before creating a list. While in SwiftUI you just declare what you need. So let's just have a data source. Let's call it names, and it's an array of string. So we have Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft. Now instead of thinking about the steps, we will simply declare a list and provide it our data source. So let's remove the default code, declare a list, and provide it our data source. It will require a unique ID. Let's call it self, and it will have a closure for each element in the list. Now let's declare a text to display the name in our list. So our content view is automatically updated in Canvas, and we can see our elements in the list. So we simply declare whatever we want instead of thinking about the steps we need to create that element. Now one thing that you would have noticed is that we are not using any constraints for our list or our text. And the reason is that SwiftUI does not use auto layout. SwiftUI basically uses declarative layout, and that allows us to easily create dynamic UIs for all platforms. So in SwiftUI, we basically create all of our complex UIs with the help of stacks. So we have horizontal stack, vertical stack, or ZStack. So let's say we want to have a button at the bottom of our list that would allow us to apply to these companies. So first of all, embed our list into a vertical stack and give our list a fixed frame size. That would be, let's say, 200. No, we do not want to give it a width, we want to give it a fixed height. Now it automatically appears to the center of its parent. In our VStack, let's create another element that will be our button. Let's give it a title of apply, and we are not configuring an action for now. So let me zoom out the screen, and you can see we have an apply button at the bottom of our list. Now let's add a spacer in our VStack. A spacer is basically an empty space that will push the other views through their boundaries. So we added the spacer at the end of our vertical stack. So it is down here at the bottom, and it pushed both our button and list to the top. So spacer tries to occupy as much space as it can by pushing the other views to their boundaries. So we have an apply button. Let's add a background, and let's give it a color. dot, let's say not blue, let's give it a pink color. Now as you can see, our button is a bit small, so let's add a padding. So it will add paddings to all four sides of our button. Now let's give it a foreground color. Let it be white so our text become visible. So now we have a beautiful apply button. Now let's say we want another button that would be adjacent to our apply button. So for that, we do not need another VStack, we need an HStack. So tap on our button and embed it in HStack. Now copy paste your apply button and call it like cancel. So this is how we arrange elements in our SwiftUI apps. So we have a VStack and the first element is our list. The second element we have in our VStack is an HStack. This is the second element. This is first element, and at the end we have a spacer. So according to their order, they will be rendered on the view. And even in our HStack we have two buttons, one for apply and one for cancel. Now we have another stack that is called ZStack. ZStack allows you to overlay one view or over on top of the other. So for example, let's embed our HStack in a ZStack. Now let's create an image. I already added an image with the name BG in our assets. So as you can see in our ZStack, I added an image that is on the back of our HStack that contains our both buttons. So ZStack basically allows you to add views on top of the other. So we have an image in the background and an HStack on top of it. I added dot resizable property with the image, so that allows the image to be resizable and not take a static size. Now another cool feature of SwiftUI is that it allows you to extract your subviews and create separate views for them. So tap on your ZStack, extract your subview. So you have now a separate extracted view that is visible in your main content view. You can rename it to whatever you like according to your business need. Let's just call it buttons view. Now one thing that you would have noticed is that all of our views in SwiftUI are basically structs. So the reason is that structs are very lightweight in SwiftUI, and also structs are value types. So you do not have to worry about any unexpected situation with the help of structs. I believe it's enough for today's video. I want you to create a new Xcode project with SwiftUI and play around with it, and also try to create a login screen.
I hope you find this video helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Happy coding.